Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms, because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be discussing a very sensitive topic that is very much not discussed enough, and that so many people should talk about. And so we're going to do that today. And with me is Dr. Gregory Chase, aka Dr. Greg, the founder of childabuse.com, and an expert in this area. I'm going to put Ed on when Tan Talk Radio, and whenever he batches us in, we'll just go from that. Dr. Greg, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine way up here in Alaska. So good afternoon to you. It's our morning here.
Thank you so much for waking up at the break of dawn to be on this show.
I'm telling you.
I think we're 6 hours behind. So it's 6 a.m. You got up at 5?
I got up at, I was up and ready to go at 5.
Yeah, I appreciate it more than you know.
Hands, the gal who cares for the caregiver, where you can find help and hope every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and thanks for watching and tuning in. This is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be discussing a very sensitive topic, but very topic that there's statistics and everything on why males are less likely to report abuse and sexual abuse, any abuse of any kind, more than females, with the founder of childabuse.com, Dr. Gregory Chase. Before I formally introduce my guest, I want to say hi to Ed at Tan Talk Radio.
Hey, happy Thursday to everybody.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
Hey, good.
You remember Dr. Gregory Chase, childabuse.com?
Nice. Sure
Oh,
do. Hello.
Good afternoon, Ed.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you, sir.
Childabuse.com has been going on forever, since like 1990. And Dr. Gregory Chase has been fighting and promoting this, editing this website all on his own with a passion to end child abuse and have resources for those that are being abused, human trafficked, all sorts of things. And also starting this week, after tomorrow, we'll be doing live shows every Friday from 12 to 1 instead of Thursday and Friday. And I think that has a nice ring to it. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany every Friday at noon. Anyway, so that's gonna happen. And also, cute video clip. When I watch this really quick, Ed, I want to show you.
Okay.
No, it's thanking everyone for their votes. The top three or top 10 finalists in 3 separate categories of the People's Choice Podcast Awards.
It should have had you. Yeah, it should have had you at the end and then do a mic drop.
There's many more thank yous to come because the winners are announced September 30th. But just to be placed in the final 10 of the top 10 of 3 categories: health, education, and society and culture. I still get those little trophies. So, and thanks to Tan Talk Radio, because this is it all started with you guys saying, hey, you want to host a psychology show? And you gave a mental health counselor a microphone, and I had no idea what to do with it. And 8 years later, look at us now.
And radio is so broad now. It's not just driving in your car anymore with the phone apps and everything like that. I have favorite music station in the Virgin Islands that I'll tool around town listening to it. So it's now anywhere, everywhere now. It's global. Global.
Yeah. So we are also like, we do this live show, Tan Talk Radio, everything like that. Then afterwards, so it's on virtual, on YouTube, LinkedIn Live, Twitter Live, Facebook, on several stations, as well as radio. And then it's broadcasted to Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name them all, iTunes, Apple, Google. You can ask Siri to play you Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and podcast, and she will. That's if your Siri obeys you, or Alexa, or Google.
You got it.
And then it's restreamed also on Tan Talk Radio website and everything else. So anyway, it's come a long way.
Yes.
I still like the live radio. Every now and then I'm driving in the car, I'll just turn on 106.1 FM, which is local, or 1340 AM. and I'll just listen to someone else's show and thinking, how many people listen to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, and I
Mhm.
don't even know it, you know?
Yeah,
So thanks so much, Ed.
you
And
got it.
so please call in with live questions, anything that you want to ask, Q&A. You're welcome to call in 866-826-1340. That's 866-826-1340. And I can promote it across the screen, 866-826-1340. So my guest today, Dr. Greg, he likes to go by Greg, but for this purpose, we're going to call him Dr. Chase, since he's worked so hard as a medical emergency. He's retired from bedside medicine following a 38-year career in emergency medicine. He founded childabuse.com so long ago, and he's just recently retired as of May 2019. Am I right,
Yeah,
Dr. Chase?
as soon as the last gray hair pulled up and said, "You're done, bud," that was it. No, I hugged my last patient, got a picture, and it's been kind of sad. 200 friends, which is what it takes to run our emergency room. There's 200 of us, nurses and doctors, and it was quite a ride. It seemed like it started yesterday, and then in 1980, 81, just working part-time in a hospital, helping out kind of like as a volunteer, and then from there school, thinking, oh, this would be cool, and then 38 years later in a blink. So
Mhm.
it's amazing how fast that went. It's like watching your newborn baby one day, and the next day my child's now 41 years old. Unbelievable. Now he's got kids of his own.
Your grandpa. Hey,
Now, Pappy, let's get this set for your
you're
your
Pappy.
listeners and viewers, and you. It's Pappy.
You have all these things.
Shout out.
Okay, don't call me Dr. Gregory Chase, or I want to be informal. Greg,
Yeah,
Dr. Chase.
I
I
is
the
don't like
grandpa.
to. Yeah, Dr. Pappy. I don't like to scare the patients and the kids. You know, you get down there and you say, I'm Dr. Greg. I'm here to make you better, make you feel good, so make you happy. We're gonna get you home, and then
And that's the
we're gonna
best
get you.
part.
Yeah, because they don't want to be there. So the first thing on their mind is, when am I leaving, and who is this guy?
Uh,
So you
Another
just
thing you
gotta.
did
Mhm,
was for years, so you're up in Alaska, which is your favorite residence, but you would
mhm.
fly down to Los Angeles to do
Yeah,
your
I
work. You would
work in LA, and then fly either to Texas or to Alaska, depending on what part of the year it is. Texas in the summer, no. I would think everything melts. It's 110 degrees. You don't go there. Summer in Alaska, this is people's bucket list. I live it every summer. This is a great place. Hiking, biking, fishing, just scenery. It's
so you've sent
fantastic.
me some beautiful pictures where I can't believe that's just your backyard. Just
That's just the backyard. The real pictures are out there waiting in amongst the mountains and the hikes and stuff. We have European style ranges, mountain ranges here. It's fantastic, complete with glaciers, the whole thing.
yeah, and your parents are both alive and well,
That
and almost
89 years, yeah,
90 years
89
old.
years old, and yeah, almost not. Yeah, they're gonna my dad's gonna be 90 coming in October, and wait a minute, that's almost next month.
Yeah,
So and it was just yesterday when we were all just a young family. Once again, there it goes. So
that's what
savor
people that
every, yeah, savor
older
every moment. Yeah,
that it just flops by. But when you're a child and have so much to look forward to, for most children,
yeah.
we're going to get into
Mm-hmm.
some that don't have things to look forward to sometimes, but there's healing out there.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna
when
get
you have
there.
stuff to anticipate, time goes by
Mm-hmm.
so slow. Oh my gosh,
It
we can't wait
does.
for Christmas, can't wait till I turn 16 and drive, whatever. Then you get past 25 and or start a family, and it's all of a sudden like it's
Yeah,
Wednesday again or it's Thursday again. Oh my gosh, like where'd the week
yeah.
go? It's just a blink because we're
I
on
I
fast
did-
forward.
I
We but I think
I
that you guys live longer because you're in the peaceful sector where it's not.
Yeah, it's well, we have our challenges here in this community, but for the most part, those of us who get out and enjoy Alaska for what it's really meant to be enjoyed for, we really do thrive here.
Mhm.
we get out and hike and bike and enjoy the scenery and enjoy one another while we're enjoying the scenery and such. But there are some elements that unfortunately happen in every community here as much as LA or Miami or in Chicago. We have our our problems. We're going to talk about one of them today that kind of a tough one, unfortunately. Why children sometimes don't report abuse, and of the two, males and females, I'm not going to define sex with everyone else. It's for me today, pragmatically, I'm just going to say male and female, and
LGBT
because
plus, but we'll just stick with the
we're going to just stick with the genetics
designated at birth.
just for this hour. We're just going to hang on that.
Mhm.
I don't want to offend anyone, and I respect everyone's who they are inside and out. With that said, we're going to talk
And
about
before you jump over that, I wanted to break in when you're saying about Alaska and it's a place.
yeah,
Statistically, the male female ratio is 10-1. So
that's right.
a lot more Jews to
So
female,
that wait a minute, there's 10 females to one guy. I
the other
wish.
way around.
No, it's the other way around
Males
because
to one female.
when
So you
I'm
might
on
be a
the
hot commodity out there, huh?
yeah, wait, yeah.
That's another
As
show.
I get older and keep my health, I become more of a rare commodity in in that regard. But when I'm out on the bike trails or on the hiking trails, I'm passing 50 guys, and then there's a girl.
Yeah.
50
Okay.
guys, a girl. 50 guys and a girl. What the hell? There's just not enough of us. So
Alaska, but
there's
you
yeah,
probably don't rank a lot of
there's
the birth
too many guys and not enough girls. So we need to get the girls up here.
That's the
Yeah.
joke with a lot of the females that I talk to is they want to move to Alaska because of that ratio, like how easy it
Right.
is to find a man.
Yeah, right
Anyway,
now you don't lose your girl, you lose your turn. So
we get
that's
built
how it's
for
looked
that.
upon. Yeah, that's an Alaska thing. So,
Let's
but
get
we're
to
gonna
the topic.
let's slide
Yes.
back into where we're headed here. So, in any community, in Community X, we have challenges, especially with child abuse and such. And I want to focus this time not on just young ladies who are severely abused, but also young boys, males, who are sexually abused. And then we want to look. Well, why aren't they reporting it? there
Right.
there are there are some real reasons why they don't report it, talking about boyhood, child sexual abuse and its aftermath for men as those boys grow up. It's very difficult for males. And while I didn't experience that, I came out of a blessed home and good parents. um, that's not always the case. And for as much as 1 in 6 or 16.7% in the US, boys experience unwanted sexual contact with an adult or an older child.
Mhm.
Whether it's a neighbor child
Even
or
exposure or
some
anything.
yeah, some older child. And only 2 to 5% will actually openly just go out and report it.
Mhm.
Very small percentage. So by age 16, you've already got 16.7% of the kids under the age of 18 who have been sexually abused. And as they grow up, we're going to get into this, but as they grow up, there's some significant psychological and physical
Yes.
somatic problems to sexual abuse amongst children, boys and girls, later men and women. But we're
I wrote
talking
a book on it.
about boys today. And Tiffany Warner here, Moments of Clarity, wrote that book. So we're just going to talk about this a little bit. What's the name of the book,
There's a light within
everybody?
you that never goes out. And
That's
it's
right.
adult survivors of sexual assault and incest. And 3 out of the 5 in the book are male. But they
Right.
came out later in their life in their 40s. They came into my office for private practice, all of them. And that's when I was looking up research to try to stay on my A game.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't a lot of curriculum out there that didn't start off with a bunch of scripture where they weren't, not saying anything wrong, whatever, to each their own, but my clients weren't ready to read that. They were mad at God. And so when there's not something out there, I like to just make it happen. So we did a survivor group and we did statistics, and they did homework assignments and what works, self-help stuff, and they all came out. Um, I saw them enlightened and grow. And when it was nominated for an Author Elite Award and all of that, they're like, our book made it. Um, and one of them actually took trial years later and put the predator away. And
Good.
ironically, it doesn't sound like I forget the word, but it was a cliche, like, the football coach of a Catholic school or whatever, and grooming and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
9 others came out and said that he had done that to them. And
Yeah,
he had
we're gonna get into that. These adults use their position of authority to take control of these children, and then it's worse than that, because like your football coach, he's gonna say, "Hey, you want to be on this team? Do you want to make the big leagues?
and then
You're
when
gonna
you
keep
don't
quiet."
well,
Yeah.
when you don't let them, well, in his case, and if you don't let me do this, then he just was like, fine, I won't. But then
Mm-hmm.
he didn't favor the child. He didn't play him start. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
get him out of class. He didn't take him for cool rides in his cool car, things like that. So it's called grooming. And
Right.
and then also favoritism, and then taking away the consequences of everything.
And it's
Yeah.
embarrassing for the boy. I've been approached by adult males when I was in junior high school with clearly that in mind. And thinking back on it, it's embarrassing for me to even think about that. In fact, I've never stated it before openly to anyone except right now to your audience. I just said that. And it's very odd and weird feeling inside. So no one tried anything. You could tell they were working it up. The guy was an adult, probably in his mid 30s. I'm 15. I want to learn how to fly an airplane. He has an airplane. You can just see where we're going from here.
Yeah.
And I could tell there was some advances that were uncomfortable, and I didn't understand them. And I'm glad I backed away. I simply never spoke with that individual again. Just thank goodness. So, but this is something where the abuse comes from a position, from someone who's in a position of trust, whether it's a parent or a coach or that gentleman who worked in my junior high school and said, "Hey, I've got an airplane. I know you're interested. Want to come check it out?" And I went and checked. Yeah, I'll go check it out. And we're sitting in the airplane, and he's telling me how, all the controls and stuff, and I could tell there was something not right with the interaction. I said, well, I gotta go. Time's up. I got to get home. Mom's waiting for me. I'm going to get in trouble. And I just got out of the door and got on my bike and rode home. And I never looked back. And it felt weird for a long time. And then later on, as an adult, and then looking back on it, and of course, now doing what I do and understanding this in more depth, the breadth and depth of child abuse, especially today, we're talking about males. We're not ignoring the ladies. We know that they suffer a lot as well. But today, for the boys, it is something unusual, and it's something that is embarrassing, and it's demeaning, and it makes you question your maleness, who you are as a male.
Because
That's
just the
the key
ego,
as to why they don't report.
how we raise children. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
little boys, little girls. Girls, oh, what a princess, things like that. Boys are like roughing up, like, oh, catch the ball, or you're going to be a star at football. It's how we react to young children, female, male, when
Right.
they're growing up.
Right.
And most of my clients that are male that have been approached or sexually abused are just like, oh, I don't want to even talk about it. It didn't bother me much. It didn't affect me much. Or I don't want people to look at me differently because I should have been able to push them off or fight harder or
Yeah.
other things like that. Or does that make me gay when I'm
Mm-hmm.
not homosexual?
Those are
All
very,
these
very
white
big issues that
they grow
I'm
up
hoping
feel,
to run through.
yeah, we are. And or becoming a womanizer later on to prove
Mm-hmm.
that they aren't, or if they were groomed and forced to do something that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
and wasn't painful, let's say it didn't hurt, they wonder if they liked it, or not knowing why people say it's inappropriate. There's so many things. And
That's
I
right.
want to just address it. I hope this is not a trigger warning for anyone. This is here to help you. And if it is, there's so many things that you can contact myself through Instagram or anything like that, and Dr. Chase on childabuse.com. We're here to help.
Definitely.
And
Right.
this is to be outreach that basically, if you are male, female, regardless, but mostly male, because this doesn't get discussed in like separate categories enough. We just
No,
have
and we have the media telling us all about politics and all about this, that, and the other, and how global warming, but the media is silent. To me, they're complicit by omission. The silence with the media is deafening. There's a lot of talk about clergy abuse and what's going on in the church, because that's something that is almost theatrical with the media. You've got some church XYZ, I won't name a denomination here, and you've got a clergy who 80 boys have been abused, but they'll show his picture, some sordid mugshot, and maybe a side shot of the religious institution or church, but they don't talk about those boys. What about those 80 boys? What happened to every single one of them? Well, I'll tell you what happened. First of all, it destroys trust in future relationships. That's number one. Number two, it drives a lifetime of shame.
This is where I want to go with our segment. We have to take our commercial break. So this is where we're going to pick up right where let's leave a cliffhanger right now. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity. Stay tuned. We've got some great statistics coming up.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American Odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. Today, we're talking about, or put a trigger warning, but something a lot of people should know about, that everyone should, but don't, report abuse, and of all kinds, but mostly males. Statistically, males are less likely to report. With me is Dr. Gregory Chase, founder of childabuse.com. He's also worked in the emergency room and for 38 years in career in medicine, and done so much. And thank you for being here, Dr. Chase, and welcome back.
It's an honor. Thank you for having me. Tiffany, we love your Moments of Clarity show. I'm telling you, you really get the message out. So we were talking about, when a young boy is sexually abused by someone he trusts, and what does that really do? I started off with getting excited here, destroying trust in future relationships. That's a big one, because that's a breakdown in family units for generations to come. And that creates a real problem. Drives a lifetime of shame. They feel shameful. Why did I invite the abused? What did I do? Did I cause this? And then it of course makes them question as to their own sexuality. Who are they? And it alters how they perceive what trust is. What's appropriate trust in a friendship, in a relationship that is more of a marital style relationship. And it leads to unhealthy relationships, because now they're left with, what is a healthy relationship? They don't know. They're going to go out and try to find out. And often that leads to risky sexual behavior, drug and alcohol abuse,
Mhm.
and violence and abuse in future relationships. So it becomes it becomes problematic, and it affects these young boys as they grow up into men. They typically will lead unsuccessful lives if this takes a hold of them and they don't seek the help that someone like Tiffany Warner here can provide through a counseling, and reach out. There's a lot. We're going to get into the resources. There are several resources available. I have them at the end, but
Mhm.
if they don't, we're looking at just this lifetime fear of a connection with others. And
There's so
that
many.
breakdown
There's so many.
crosses many divides. It'll cross from a satisfactory, so employment becomes difficult for them. They're unable to socialize enough to be able to go out and do a sales job, even, or be a salesman on a car lot. They can't socialize with people because they don't understand what trust is and what normal relationships are.
Dr.
They'll
Greg, I had this one client, and it was in my
Mhm.
book as well. He came to me, he had anger issues. His work actually sent him to me because of anger management. As we're doing the
Okay.
psychological evaluation, I'm very thorough, and it gets to the PTSD part, post traumatic stress, and I ask if there's any, past sex abuse, along with a bunch of, things that could cause trauma. And he said
Mhm.
yes, and he explained that he was attacked at age 10. Um,
Yep.
and held by a knife in the woods when he was racing his friends to something. He took a corner and some stranger in the
Turn the
woods.
wrong way. Yeah.
Right. So he never told anyone. He became an alcoholic. He's a
Mhm.
big baseball fan, and he wanted to take his boys. He had 3 sons. And I say had because he's passed away. I was actually with him in hospice when he passed. He had three
Wow.
sons, and I knew more about him than his children did. That he wanted to take to a baseball game, but he was afraid that he would drink and have to use a urinal and be afraid to be attacked from behind. So
Oh.
his relationship with his son, and on his dying bed, one of his oldest son was there, and the hospice was like, "Don't turn on the Rays game because it might stimulate him." And I was like, "He needs to watch a game with his son." That was his dying wish. So they watched the game together, and then he passed away like the day
Wow.
after. But he got that. But that affected his whole life.
Mhm.
He was
But
finally
but
sober
but
and everything.
more than
More
that, it affected his children's lives.
his children's lives, they had disconnected relationships. They didn't
Mhm.
understand why. He ended up divorced and all sorts of things that
Mhm.
finally, when the adults come to me and they're like, "I'm just sick of living like this," because when you push it under a rug and we don't deal with things, it becomes a lump under a rug, basically. It's gonna resurface anyway. But
Yeah.
eventually that lump gets so large we trip over it. And those
Right.
things need to be resurfaced. And you can heal from the past with the undeserved guilt, undeserved shame. Everything's undeserved. It's not the child's fault. And
Right.
that was just one example I wanted to give.
Right. What you're pointing out is really what happens, over a lifespan. Poor educational achievement, adult depression, anxiety disorders, aggression, and poor anger management, like you had mentioned. Your patient was sent in, your client was sent in from his workplace because he was creating problems there. Personality disorders. It was
Mhm.
very difficult to work with someone who's now is seemingly bipolar. It's very difficult. Eating disorders, so it's unhealthy. Post-traumatic stress, PTSD is a big one for these
Yes.
folks. For mostly for women, agoraphobia, but
Uh-huh.
some men. And then obsessive compulsive disorder, mostly women, but some men.
Those
And
are
then social.
It's a big thing. Like
Mhm.
having it's more like perfectionism,
Yeah,
because the need
yeah,
for control because they felt out of control,
yeah,
and
and
that's
then high
usually
risk behaviors, smoking,
into
alcohol, drug abuse, unsafe sex,
and
things
eating
like that,
disorders. That's a
and
need that's
eating disorders.
controlling
Oh yeah.
because you
Yeah,
can't you
your
can't make
eating
sense.
disorders kind of follows the obsessive compulsive stuff.
Mhm.
And when you get someone like that, and this is where clinicians, teachers, educators, yourself, specialists, even, and just your layman need to be aware of some of these things, because as much as 60% of the people exhibiting some of these symptoms, which have now been classified, and you can say that if they meet more than 6 of these 12, that likely they've been abused. 60% of them have been abused sexually in their youth under the age of 18. It's a sure bet. And that's where you want to head first when you're talking to them, like you did with your client. You went right down that road, and what do you know? He opened up, and he got the help much needed.
He was surprised. He was like, You think that had anything to do with this?" And yeah, I think it had a lot to do with
It,
everything. I
but
think
but
the
there you are. There's the media not helping out.
someone
They're
needs
not
He was
helping.
never been asked about it.
Yeah.
He was
But
put
and
a knife to
there's
his
another
throat,
problem.
told if he said anything about it, the guy would kill him. He was
Mhm.
10 years old, so he kept it quiet, but then angry all his life. So in our support group, we did temperature checks, like 1 to 10, 10 being really, really upset, 1 being cool. He was never less than a 5. We called him Johnny
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. So
Like,
one of the tenets that we have with childabuse.com is awareness and prevention through education, and helping to stop or prevent further abuse by knowing these signs and symptoms, knowing the signs and symptoms of any abuse, whether it's neglect or sexual or physical abuse, knowing those signs and symptoms. And we've gone over that in prior shows, and we can do it
mhm,
again in a future show, because
yeah,
that's a show in of itself. But well, it's definitely important to identify that, so that you can get to the good news. The good news is, once it's identified, healing's possible. And of course, once you get this
so true.
this 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 young man into your clinic setting and in front of you in a chair, first step is acknowledging that the abuse occurred, and allowing him to articulate that what has been silenced did happen, and it wasn't his fault. Putting that experience into words, it's freeing. It gets it out. I felt better when I said about that guy who wanted to show me how to fly an airplane, but it sounds like there's a little bit more to it than that. And 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 it's just important that they get that out, get the word out, get it out of them, out, express it. And then understanding
And not
that the
feel
abused
judged.
child, now an adult, is not responsible for that abuse. That's key.
Mhm,
Those three things are key to the beginning of a successful counseling and healing. So healing
mhm.
is possible. And so
Healing is
professional
possible.
options, specialty trained
Hold on,
in
wait, before you
child
go
and
we
in
got some
adult sexual
comments.
abuse is important.
Yes. I don't know. We got some comments from live chat. Um,
Oh,
Jason Thomas from YouTube says boys don't report, probably because they don't want any unnecessary attention on themselves or anything negative that
yeah.
could affect their overall reputation.
Yes.
Not everyone is empathetic to a victim. He
Most
continues,
people are not empathetic to boys being victims. Yes.
especially in school, the chances of you made fun of or bullied are likely to be high. And
Yep.
then he keeps going, Jason from YouTube. For a child in school, reputation is everything. Reputation determines your social
Mhm.
circle and how cool or you are to others or how others perceive you. Well said. And a lot of times, my clients that are male, that they're
Mhm.
surprised how many men are and males have been exposed to sexual abuse
Mhm.
and that don't say anything. And
Yep.
they think it's a female thing, but girls,
Yeah. Wi-
that it's
wi-
a woman thing.
wi-
But not only that, they're afraid of if they tell um, anyone that they're going to be judged or like looked at like a sissy or looked at like they are homosexual if they're not, or just the
Mhm.
stigma of what someone might think of them when it's undeserved.
Right.
One of my
Well.
clients actually
Mhm.
came forth to some of his close friends and was surprised that they were like, "I'm sorry that happened to you," and didn't look at him any differently. And
Right.
that's the first step to healing is telling your story.
Yeah, your listeners are spot on. They gave even better examples as to why boys don't report. They're not going to say anything, and you know who knows that best? Their abusers. Their
Hmm.
abusers know for sure that that kid running lineback on the football team, he knows he's not going to say anything because he wants to be out there on that team, and he also knows he does not want to be uh, thrown to the wolves in his
Or
school as
perceived as
being a
weak.
sissy boy
Yeah.
who talks about being abused. That's the
Oh,
last thing they want.
Robert McRae on Facebook. Thank you for watching, Robert. As a former speaker to private survivor groups, the long-term damage done by the abuse and the social stigma is tragic. Thank you for your
Hmm.
time and efforts, Gregory Chase.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate
One,
your accolades.
one more, Larry Penton from YouTube. I'm loving this conversation. I deal with these issues, especially with males, on my Trigger Warning Talk podcast. Due
Oh,
to emotional suppression, we are taught little as little males. Larry has been on the show before, and he has a great podcast that you should check
trigger
out.
warning. Wow. Oh, all right.
Trigger Warning Talk podcast.
Okay.
That for you, Larry. You deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Your prior listener also had some good words to say. Yeah. This is very sad. It's underreported. Really, the medical community, the psychology today community needs to get out there, and we as professionals, you and I, we need to get out there. Oh, but we're getting out there to push this,
And hey, look,
and
though,
yeah,
we're
and we can definitely do this again and again and again, and it really we need too
we can
much
have
is
part
never too
two
much.
tomorrow if you're available. I'll make it happen because we're running out of time.
Oh no, this can't be. We got to buy more time.
No, but I mean, we could have part two tomorrow if you want, because it seems like it
Oh,
needs to be part two. But that
it almost does, doesn't it? I want to just
if you're
cover
free
really.
tomorrow, we could make that
Are
up because
are we up? Are we
we're
up against the
hitting the
hard
final
break?
stretch. We have to
Yeah.
hit a break right now, and then we have such little time.
Okay.
Let's take our break really quick, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. So please
Okay.
stay tuned.
Into Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Hi, Hi, this is your host, Tiffany Warner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I want to thank you for all your support on ending the stigma on mental health for over the past 7 years and with over 600 episodes, as well as several award nominations and placing as a finalist in 3 categories on the People's Choice Podcast Award last year. If you're listening to this on audio, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and enjoy viewing previous shows in case you missed any live. If you're interested in advertising and would like to promote your company, it is affordable and an effective way to get your company the attention it deserves. I also welcome potential guests as well, and all information can be found on my website at mocwithtiffany.com. Thank you again for your continued support, as change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hi, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And with me is Dr. Gregory Chase. Dr. Greg, who's been an ER doctor for over 38 years, plus the founder of childabuse.com, and since 1990, and he's been going strong. My book that I wrote, a self-help book for adult survivors of sexual abuse and incest, called There's a Light Within You That Never Goes Out, was a must-read since January 2015 or something, and still there. And we had it downloaded for free, or able to download for free, which we should do again, for so many years. Because you know why? A lot of males don't want to go and purchase a book like that. So they were downloading it anonymously and helping others, because it's the stigma of being seen on the airplane reading a self-help book for that. So anyway, welcome back, Dr. Gregory Chase. And I left you a private message, by the way. I didn't know if you saw that. Anyway, so
No. So we were going to wrap this up a little bit, but one of the things I just wanted to cover just one more time is that, first of all, young boys, as been pointed out by your guests listening to the show, will not report. They're in elementary school or junior high or high school, and they're being abused by a trusted adult, seemingly trusted adult. That creates confusion in the relationship, creates confusion down the line as to what's trust amongst soon to be a child who's now growing into an adult male. It creates a breakdown in the family unit, creates a breakdown in their future relationships, either professionally or personally, and that creates social economic damage forever. And it can affect transgenerationally, it can affect other lives. There's one thing though I wanted to cover that we didn't get to cover, and that's damage. It's life-changing, and it's certainly not for the good. We talked about addictions, anxiety, depression. Suicide rates are up 70% amongst this group. Inability to develop and maintain relationships, that in itself can cause depression. Depression leads to suicide. So it's just an angry, ugly cycle. But let's look at transgeneration. What do we really mean by that? So there's this supposed I don't know what you want to call it, this myth that all child predators have been abused. Now, a fair number of them have been. We found in our research 35% had prior abuse, compared to only 11% of sexual abusers as not having a history of child abuse. However, that leaves an overwhelming percentage of boys who were abused do not become abusers. And
right. In fact, that's another stigma, that they don't want people to know that they've been abused because they don't want to seem as a predator.
Right.
That's a
They're immediately labeled as a predator. And we've learned a long time ago, all of us don't be labeling people because that belittles them. So it's very, it's, it, oh, 888. Oh, yeah, 988. Yes, that's the new line for suicide help.
988 is
Anyways,
the national hotline for suicide ideation and help. Thank you, Larry.
yes, that's very important. Thank you, Larry. Anyways, this is a big stigma amongst young men and adult males as they grow into and move for relationships with others. They're not about to tell a potential spouse, "Oh, by the way, I was sexually abused as a little boy." She's going to get up and go to the powder room and be gone. Because the first thing she's going to think is that, well, he has a potential to be an abuser.
That's in their head, though.
That
Not
but it's
everyone.
not. But it's a myth, and it creates this fear amongst men, and
Wanna
they're
make
not
sure
going to
that
come
that's
out.
not the case. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of women would do that. They would say, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that happened to you." Not
Well,
run.
but it does. But men are afraid that can happen, so they're not
Right.
going to talk about it, and they're not going to seek help, certainly because of it. And so while data supports a victim to victimizer cycle, but only in a minority of male predators, very small overall. And then the data does not support victim to victimizer cycle among the female victims studied. And of course, sexual abuse by female in childhood increases the risk factor for that cycle of abuse in males. We don't know why yet. That little ball is still up in the air. However, the overall, is there a long shadow? There is for the damage caused by a trusted abuser, a male, abusing the boy in his life, like a coach or a parent even, or an older sibling or something. But the biggest problem they face is that we don't talk about it. Males don't talk about it. We don't seek the help we need, and then it causes long-term damage to our life and the lives of all of us, or all those around us, our children, if we actually get into a relationship and have children. So it's very difficult on everyone around them. It becomes like a storm, this storm, and the only way out is through seeking help. And once you are identified as someone who needs help and you're open to that, there are counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists. There are 12-step programs with men's focus groups to help in victimization and masculinity. On the internet, Moments of Clarity with Tiffany at Tiffany, Moments of Clarity with Tiffany.com. And then there's childabuse.com, there's malesurvivor.org, and then psychologytoday.com, and then Arc of Hope
with Blair Corbett from Arc of Hope. He rescues
that's right.
kids. That's how we met.
Right. And then what is Larry's? That's how we met. Yes, Arc of Hope. Thank you very much. And what was Larry's website? His podcast?
Larry's is Trigger Warning Talk Podcast.
Yes. So I recommend all these resources. They're all out waiting. They're just standing around waiting for you. Come. And just ask us. It's private. No one's going to talk about it. We're going to talk to you about it.
988 is a national hotline for suicidal ideation and help. I never really knew that. So
yeah, that just got changed. I think in June comes to mind.
It was
May, June.
It used to be different. But if you know of anyone that's being abused, 1-800-976 1-800-96-ABUSE. 1-800-96-ABUSE to report abuse. If you see, or if you even feel like somebody needs to be investigated, you see something funny, 1-800-96-ABUSE. When he said, when you said, I don't know when it got changed, Larry came up with July 16th, 2022.
There you go. If we don't know, we got Larry. I appreciate that. I didn't know if it was June or July.
Larry,
we're down. We got it.
We've got 4 minutes left, so hopefully maybe we could do part 2. We'll talk about this after the show, Dr. Greg.
All right.
And I almost told you Dr. Grace, because tongue twist. Anyway, we're going to wrap up today. Thank you all for the wonderful feedback on such a sensitive subject, but that if you are an abuse survivor, I want to say survivor instead of victim, but if you're seeing yourself as a victim, we can change that mindset to a survivor, and it's not your fault, and you're not alone, and it was never your fault. It's undeserved. It was their fault, and there's nothing more you should have done. And the only thing, if you haven't, is to seek help, because you don't have to live with this undeserved shame or guilt any longer. That you deserve happiness, and it's possible with the right therapist and the right resources. But the first step to seeking help is you have to want to. So anyway, we'll be back tomorrow, 12 to 1. And the topic remains unseen, or remains to be determined. I don't know.
It's a drum roll.
Yes. Larry says, thank you for all you do, Dr. Greg. I'll definitely be reaching out. Larry, Dr. Chase would be a great host or guest on your podcast as well. Anyway, thanks, everyone.
I would love to, Larry.
Starting next week, we'll be on Fridays, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time, and every Friday. And thanks again for everyone that voted for the People's Choice Podcast Award. It was a success, placing in the top 10 in 3 different categories. Yeah. You know, like a end of a Breakfast Club, like fist in the air. Anyway, such an honor. And we're just going to keep trying to end the stigma on mental health, because change can only come when we stand together as one. Dr. Chase, thank you so much for being on the show from forever ago, and for waking up at the break of dawn in Alaska.
My pleasure, Tiffany.
Everyone,
It's
have a wonderful day.
all right.
Now you're allowed to say one last thing. That's pretty much going to cut us off.
Oh,
Did you
all
have
right. No, we're good. I appreciate being on and getting the word out. Very important to get this out.
It's an honor to have you as a friend, as well as on the show. Everyone, take care. Thank you so much.
Many kinds of love you get to define. Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity.